Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the practice problems here. So again, when you are adding fractions that have the same denominator, so this has 9 and 9, all you do is add the top numbers, the numerators, so 4 plus 4, which equals 8, and then you put that number over the denominator of 9. You never add the denominators. Same thing when you're subtracting two fractions that have the same denominator. You subtract the top numbers, which is 5 minus 3, which is 2, and you put that number over the denominator of 6. And of course you could simplify 2 over 6 to 1/3 if you'd like. So the same thing is for the rest of these. You're going to add the numerators and put that number over the denominator. You never add the denominator for fractions. So all of these have the same denominator. So they are like fractions. So you're able to simply add and subtract fractions. For the second part here, these last 4 problems, I'm going to go over those. So we have some negatives and some whole numbers. So let's go over the negatives first. So you're going to want to bring the negative up to the top. So negative 2 over 7 plus negative 6 over 7. And since they both have the same denominator, you're just going to add the numerators. So it's negative 2 plus negative 6. And adding those together, we're adding two numbers that are negative. So we add the numbers 2 plus 6, which is 8, and we keep their sign, which is negative. And then we put that number that we just got, negative 8, over 7, which was the denominator. So the answer is negative 8 over 7. This next one here, we have negative 4 over 5 minus 7 over 5. So again, we have two fractions that have the same denominator. So all we're going to do is deal with the top numbers. So this becomes negative 4 minus 7. And remember, when you're subtracting a positive number, and yes, this is a positive 7, or else it would have a negative there. Subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. So this actually on the top becomes negative 4 plus negative 7, which is negative 11. Add the numbers 4 plus 7, which is 11. Keep the sign. And then you put that number, negative 11 over 5. The last 2 problems here. So we have whole numbers and we're subtracting just simple fractions. So we can change any whole number into a fraction. For example, 1 as a fraction of 8 would be 8 over 8. And we want 3 of those. So we can either multiply by 3 or we can just add 8 over 8 plus 8 over 8 plus 8 over 8, which would be 8 plus 8 plus. Let's just multiply instead. It's easier. So 8 over 8 times 3. And you're multiplying by times 3 over 1, just so that you know you're not multiplying the bottom number. So this actually becomes 24 over 8. And you can check that by dividing. 24 divided by 8 is 3, so that's your whole number. So this becomes 24 over 8 minus 3 over 8. So they both have the same denominator, so we're going to go ahead and subtract 24 minus 3 on the top. That would be 21, and we're going to put that number, 21 over 8, and that is our answer. So same thing here. We are subtracting a whole number and a mixed number, so this one takes a little bit more effort. But I just want you to think about this for a second. Instead of trying to figure out how to convert this to a fraction and this to a fraction, just look at it. What's 1 3/4? How close is it to 2, right? Well, it's only 1/4 away. And if you end up subtracting and converting all of them to mixed numbers, I could show you that real quick. So 2 would be 8 over 4. And then we're going to be learning this eventually, but 1 3/4 becomes 7 over 4. Which would be 1/4. So that is how you solve all of part 1, or not part 1, part 3 practice problems. I will be doing another video where I explain the challenge problems.